Pardon?
There you go.
Oh,
There we go. There we go. I'm letting some people in. Some people will come in along the way. So this is Club Leadership Education 2024 for it's really the pre 2025 fiscal year for those that are coming um, in the fall, but it doesn't matter for us. We don't really have any kind of concern about when you're coming into the office. If you're in the office now, or you come into the office, or you're not in office and you just want to learn, we're here to help whatever way you want. So this is Sue Peterson, and I am going to lead you through the club membership chair program. I will eventually, once we get going, I will turn my camera off so that you can see the PowerPoint, and it will also help you and it helps me with my Wi-Fi access, because sometimes my Wi-Fi goes a little crazy. So I will get that to you. And then what you should know is when this is all over, after I get the recording out of the cloud, I will send you the link to the recording, as well as all the documents that we reference. We'll send you those links and the either the links or the documents themselves, depending on how they are submitted to me. We'll give all those, make those all available to you. And if there's anyone else in your club who would like to attend this program, you are welcome to share this with them, the video. It will be available on the YouTube site, and I will again put that in the email to you after this comes down. They can go back and look at any of the training programs for club president, club secretary, club treasurer, which we did last week on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Today, of course, we'll with the membership one, but anyone can look at that. And there's actually a link in the email that we'll send that if your club would like the attendance credit, which I'm guessing that you will want for the recognition program, you just need to fill out a quick survey that asks what club you're from, what program you attended in your email. So that way I can get all that information into the database so that when it comes time for the recognition programs at the end of the year, you will have that. I see that Brenda is with us tonight. Brenda, you want to wave your hand? Brenda is the membership chairperson for next year for the Michigan District for Governor, who will be Governor Frank Palazzolo at that time. So I will make sure that she will be your key contact for anything membership. Actually, you can contact her now or reach, but she'll be with working on membership for the next year. So I wanted to let you make sure you have that, and her information will be in this PowerPoint at the end. If you have any questions along the way, either throw them in the chat or we'll try to get to them at the end. This is the program has about 40 slides in it, which makes me think it'll go like an hour to 10 hour and 15 minutes. And a lot of the information is really reference for you. It may not show you directly how to do things, but it'll show you the reference. And I do want to share with you that my club we have 4 new members since October, and we had a rummage sale over the weekend on Saturday, and we had two prospective members show up just because they went to the sale and said, hey, I need to learn about what Kiwanis is doing. I want to get involved in volunteer work. So we have those two. We've invited the last 4 speakers of our club, which we do anytime we have a speaker. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we are on track to add 12 new members this year, all because of the communications that we've had and getting our Facebook page and stuff like that up and running. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. I will stop my video, share my screen, so because you don't need to see my face after this. And we will keep you moving. Let's see here, slideshow from the beginning. There we go. And if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If not, we'll try to get to them along the way. So again, tonight's education program is on membership for the club membership chair. And again, there's some new information in here that Kiwanis International has made available. And if you go to kiwanis.org /membership, you're going to find a lot more information, but we'll share that with you as well. Okay, so tonight, we're going to go over the roles and expectations of a membership chair, how to plan for membership, what a recruitment and retention means, how you can do strategies for those components, recruitment and retention, how you can market your club, and tools and resources that are available to you. And I think what you will find is there are a lot of tools and resources out there that you may have heard about here and there, but this kind of puts them all together for you in the resource page and the information that's there. So it's really a great resource for you to go back to. And that's why we'll make this available to you along the way. And I have some more people that joined us. So let's see here. Okay. So the roles and expectation. As the membership chair, you are the face and the voice for the membership activities in your club. And what you need to understand, and hopefully that you have, is that you have a committee of members that will help you. So your role is to create a strong and a vibrant membership experience that's rewarding for the current members and for prospective to invite new members. You'll want to set membership goals, create a membership plan, work with your board, and plan membership drives, member drives, and events throughout the year. The first resource that we want to bring your attention to is the leadership guide. And I see the picture didn't show up. Okay, the leadership guide, the most up-to-date version, which was printed in January 20 or developed in January 2024, is available on the website at kiwanis.org/leadership guide. And the club membership chair section begins on page 51. And I know there's a picture of it later in the system, but I will make sure that we share that with you. And if we get a chance, I'll put it up on the screen for you. So basically, as your role is, many of you know what SMART goals are, where you set goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And one thing that you can do as you set your goals is to do those things. Set a goal that's realistic and measurable. You often hear that what gets measured gets completed. So if, like, our club has decided that we would like to increase our club size by 12. That's our goal. We have a plan for that. We know how many members we want to, or how many prospective members we want to talk to each month, and how are we doing that to bring those members in. We have an action plan, which is a way to, how are we going to do that? What's along the way? Communicating the importance of our membership efforts. It's truly the job, as I tell my club, it's truly the job of everyone in your club for membership. I work in the fundraising world, although I work in the fundraising department. I'm not a fundraiser per se, but when you think about it, every one of us is a friend raiser, right? So my job may not specifically be going to go out and ask for money. Your job may not be specifically, or you'll have members in your club may not specifically be asked to go out and bring members in, but they're truly about making friends and building a relationship with individuals. So we'll talk about planning membership events, teaching others how to invite community members to attend, and plan and conduct new member inductions, as well as orientation and meetings. Some important dates that you'll want to think about is that the club president, hopefully your club president attended our program last week. If not, they can watch it online. Hopefully your club president will bring together all of your board members and your committee chairs to have a club president's planning conference as a way for you and to work with the rest of the board on how are we going to do this? What is our year going to look like? What are the goals? How many projects are we going to do? How many members do we want to invite? So what are those things starting October 1? And then again, you'll have your annual meeting. The club bylaws state that you'll have one meeting each year between January 1st and May 15th. May 15th being that, or typically this is when your club elections are held, somewhere between January 1st and typically closer to May 15th. It's also a great time for you to review where you are on your membership and how your club is moving forward for membership and whether you're behind or you're ahead of schedule. April 1st, which is actually the mid-year of our Kiwanis year, is the midday. Starting in 2025, it's going to be called what was called the World Reporting Day. And we did this many, many years ago. So clubs around the world will be asked to call Kiwanis International and to report how their membership is moving along. What are their successes? How many members have they invited? What are their challenges? But also an opportunity for clubs if they've got questions. So World Reporting Day, so we can see where we are, because typically that's a great indicator of how the rest of our year is going to be. And then there will be information in the Kiwanis.org website for that. May is typically membership month. It's historically been known that way. And some clubs like to plan their recruitment events in May. Other clubs use May as a way to plan membership events for the rest of the year. But no matter when you decide to do that, it's always a great opportunity to reconnect and reevaluate and find out what your plans are for the next month, the rest of the year. and how you will go about inviting community members to join your club. August and September, this is always a sad point. So, a sad dollar. In August and September is when 39% of our members leave Kiwanis. So in August and September, 39% of our members who left Kiwanis last year were deleted from club rosters in September. And it's very strongly encouraged, and almost to a point that you wish it was mandated, that clubs delete members throughout the year so that you know where you're going to be at the end of the year, so that you know where you stand in membership. It's nothing worse than getting to the end of the year and having to delete 5 or 6 people and realize that you've only, you know, invited, or your club has grown by 5 members, and you're not going to be able to, have a positive membership growth. So it's always a great thing to delete your members when they leave your club, whether they move or they pass away or life changes. Some members may not even feel engaged and decide that Kiwanis is not the thing for them, which is okay. That is out there. So it's really important for you as a club membership chair to make sure that everyone sees the scope of your work, because you're going to want to encourage your club secretary to delete those members so that you know where you're at. But you're also going to need to engage your members immediately so that they're involved in your club and they see what the work that is being done. Sometimes it's re-engaging them because they're burned out. Sometimes it's re-engaging them because they may be too busy. But the best Kiwanis members are those who volunteer in many organizations. And oftentimes you'll hear someone say, "Oh, I belong to, I'm a Rotarian, or I belong to my church and I have my school things." And most of us know that the best Kiwanis members are the ones that are busier and the ones that have a schedule that's full. And as an organization, we it's important to us that we have members and we recognize the fact that we know they give their time and their talent to Kiwanis. And keeping them engaged is a way for us to continue that involvement and to keep them going, you know what, I'll be back next year. But it's also a time for you to make sure during that time that you're also talking to those members who have not been engaged, to find out what you can do to re-engage them. So there's a checklist. It's called the Membership Chair Annual Checklist, and this I will send to you as an attachment. You can see that's the picture of the leadership guide. And I will tell you that if you received that leadership guide in the last couple of years, there's minimal updates to it. So if you have one, don't get rid of it. You can still use that. Another thing that I will tell you that I do is with my older copies that I'm not using, I actually give them to prospective members. And somebody said, "Oh my gosh, you're giving them that book. It's got all this stuff about being a leader. You don't want to scare anybody off." Everyone that I have given that to has told me they want to read that at their own pace, when it fits their schedule, when they can get into it and find out what the club is doing, and then determine whether that's something that they want to, continue to be engaged with. I've never had anyone come back to me and say this was a big mistake. So it helps them understand, because it's a great resource for orientation. But the membership chair annual checklist that is there has specific things to do each quarter, and as well as things to do prior to your year. So you'll see there, it says prior to your year. And then it says throughout the Kiwanis year, October to December, January to March, April to June, and July through September. So this resource is on page 64 of the leadership guide, and I will also send it to you as an attachment so that you will have it. And like me, I carry it with me so I know where I'm at. So as we move ahead for the membership plan, every club needs a strategy to recruit and retain members. And you can begin that process by creating a membership plan with your officers and your board of directors. If you have a plan that's currently working and things are moving along and you just want to continue to do that, maybe you need to tweak it, maybe you need to just make some adjustments to it, that is there. That is something that you continue to work off of. We have some clubs that their strategies, they bring in several members a year and it's working for them. So we don't want you to change it. You need to do what works for your club. So your club leadership may task you as the membership chair to take a look at overall member efforts. You may want to put together a focus group to look at membership trends and envision future potential. If if you do a Google search for inviting people to join your club, there will be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links that are out there and articles that are out there. You can do it that way, or you can go back to the information that Kiwanis has in their resources. And sometimes I always say it's good to look at what other organizations are doing. So the other thing that you'll want to do is that if your club president has a planning conference, or maybe your club decides you want to do a membership retreat for everyone, depending on what fits your club and your activities, you may want to do that as a way to sit down and talk about how are we going to grow Kiwanis? How are we going to engage and involve more hands and more hearts to make sure that we have what we need to serve our communities? So eventually, no matter how you put that plan together, everyone's going to need to work together. And you will find that there are people there that are going to help you provide a club experience to keep members coming back and to motivate new members to join. It's imperative that you update the schedule along the way throughout the year to make sure your club knows what is going on and where you are in membership. Are you, up in your numbers of invitations? Are you down in your number of invitations? And Kiwanis International has a lot of tools out there, and we'll show you some of those that allow you to work on or have the information that you need to assist clubs with recruitment and retention. So we're going to take a look at some of the membership plan information that we'll look at some of the documents that I will also send to you. And then there's some membership workshop documents that we'll give you as well. So where does your club begin? The first thing you want to do is find out where your club is today. What does your club look like today? Do you have is your club diverse? Do you represent all ages? Do you represent all professionalisms, or whatever professional jobs they have? A lot of things that you can look at, and it's a great way to do that. Analyze where you want your club to be in the future. If you're a club of 10 or 11, you may want to work to get to 15. I mean, if you're at 10 and you want to get 15, that's a pretty significant increase in membership. If you're a club of 35, do you want to get to 50? Do you want to go to 40? What is your goal based on what your club wants to do and what your club wants to accomplish in your communities? Talk about the membership strategies that work best for your club. And if you're a newer membership chair, there are probably other members in your club who can give you feedback and say, we tried that, it wasn't successful, or you know what, we didn't try that, let's try it a different way. And then how do you want to plan to meet your goals? A membership committee is really a great tool to have so that it doesn't fall all on your shoulders. It is a lot of work, but you will find it very, very rewarding for what you're doing when you're building membership. So your club's membership plan, I don't know if I can probably not increase that. The club membership plan, there is a document, and we'll send that to you. If I could get it, I'd get it to you right now. But basically, it's a new program. This was just recently released by Kiwanis International. It's to help you plan and acquire your members. It's for all the club members who are working together to provide that experience. And as the club membership, you may want to complete a multi-year program, or you may want to, work on one recruitment tactic or one evaluation throughout the year. So basically, what you're looking at is how many members do you have on your roster? If your club has honorary members, that's your choice to include them or not. What is your estimate? What is your actual? How many new members have you added in the last 5 years? And that information, if you don't have it, or your club secretary is unable to get that, or you've changed club secretaries, that information is available with your district lieutenant governor or your division lieutenant governor, or from the district office. How many members have you deleted in the last 5 years? Take a look at how many members have either left the club, or your club has made the decision to delete them for lack of participation, or how those members have left Kiwanis. What is your retention rate? What is the percentage of members who start with your club and stay with your club? So if you had 25 members and you maintain 24, great retention rate. But if you have 25 members and you retain 10, that's something to look at. What's the diversity of your membership? Percentage of each gender, age range, professionals, ethnicity. Does your club represent your community? And that's often something that we talk about it. I can say even in my own club, it's like, does our club represent what our community, what the ethnicity, what the diversity is of our community? How many guests do you have? How many guests visit your club on a daily basis or a weekly basis, whenever you may meet, on a monthly basis? How many, how many members are there? How many people bring guests to the club? And if they're not bringing guests to the club, why is that? And then, of course, the percentage of members who attend events. So whether it's a service project, a fundraiser, a special event, or a club meeting, what is the estimate there that you believe that is? And then as the time permits, you can have the estimate, and then you can actually start looking at your own data, and you can put your information in to give you the actual numbers. But I think it's interesting when you do that, to think about what you think it is and then to look at what it really is, because you may be really good, you may be really off. The second part of your membership plan is to analyze where your membership is. What's the club's membership number today? What was it 5 years ago? What was it 10 years ago? If your lieutenant governor or the district office is unable to help you, Kiwanis International can help you get that number. That's a number that's available because it's tracked, and actually it's in your Kiwanis dashboard. If you go back, you're able to see which members your club deleted and which ones they added. When was the last time your club had a net positive growth? Meaning, when was the last time that your club went from 34 to 35 or a +1? When was the last time they went, why did that happen? How did that happen? What was your club doing to recruit and reinforce what you were doing? But what was the reason for that? What are your club's demographics? List the actual numbers of male, female, religion, the average age, education levels, cultural background, ethnicity, socioeconomic values, all things that you can use to look at your club, and then compare them to what your community is. And that information is typically available either on your community website, or someone at the library can help you get that information. In a typical year, how many members do you lose for the following reasons? Things that are unrelated to the club: health issues, retirement, they moved, they passed away. But what is the club influence? What are the members that you've lost because a member has decided that it doesn't meet their goal or their need anymore, or their values? Was there a lack of activity that your club had, and they didn't feel like that you were doing enough activity for them? And I've heard that before, when clubs would say, "Yeah, the club's just not doing enough. I need something that's more active." Non-payment of dues. Are there members that didn't pay their dues or haven't paid for a couple of years? You haven't seen them. And of course, what other reasons out there that may have a club influence? It may be when your club meets. It may be that how you handle a certain project. And then, how many members do you look at losing this year? Most of us can take a look at our club and project that, we know, if you know your members well enough, if someone's going to move or someone's needs to leave for health reasons. You kind of know that information. Now, you're always going to have that one that you won't know anything about, but you can pretty much tell, based on the activity level of your club and what they're doing, that who is going to be around. And then taking an in-depth look at your club, what your club does. So there's a group of tools called the ACE tools, Achieving Club Excellence, and the link is in the bottom left-hand side. You have the Kiwanis.org ACE tools. Have you used those in the last year, the past 2 years? There's a club scorecard. There's a creating the purpose. There's a membership satisfaction. How to develop and what are your community partnerships? Have you rediscovered your community? After COVID and the pandemic, many of our clubs went back and looked at the community and looked at how different it was. And it may not have been the project that we were doing back then that was important now. Maybe the importance now was placed on food insecurities, or transportation to medical appointments. So a lot of things to look at about how your club may have changed over that time frame. What impact do you have on your community? What is going on? Are do people know who you are? What's your club excellence plan? There's a documents there on developing a membership drive, how to put a membership drive together, and how to celebrate success. So there are several tools that are there that talk about the opportunity there. So you got the community survey, the membership survey, the club vision, the analyzing the gap. You're here. What's our future going to look like? What is the gap? What are we missing? and how do we develop partnerships, planning your course, and then going to actions and not words. So kind of breaks it down a little bit, a different way for you to take a look at things. But what club tools are out there? And a lot of times someone will say, I didn't even know about these tools. They're available, and I get it. There's a lot of information out there, but here's a way for you to look at those tools, and you may not need all of them. You may only want to use a couple of them. There's a community survey and a membership survey. These are all recommended questions and all recommended things that have been used throughout the time. But if you have a different member survey, you can put it up in SurveyMonkey, or you can develop your own based on what your club is looking for. But there's some great questions there and some great opportunities to help you figure out where you are as far as operations, service and funding, and community research. So when you talk about what your goal is for acquiring a new member, of course, if you're below 15 members, your goal should be to get to 15 members for charter strength. That's the goal of every Kiwanis club, to have 15 members. Maybe you want to reach a goal connected to your anniversary. I remember years ago when we were getting close to the 100th anniversary, the Detroit #1 club, as the founding club, wanted to be at a certain number. Do you have, is there something in mind? Is your club going to celebrate 50 years and you want to make sure you have 50 members? Whatever that is, and all that can be done, of course, with a lot of fun along the way. Do you want to increase your member by a particular number? For example, our club has decided we want to get 12 new members. Our goal was one person a month. If we get more than 12, of course, we're not going to say, oh, sorry, that's our goal. We met 12, we're done. We're going to continue that. Do you want to double your club's membership? Maybe that's something your club has decided that you're like, okay. And I will tell you that for those that are going to Denver for the international convention, there's actually a workshop program going to be held there from a gentleman who basically took his club from nothing to a very large club number wise, all because of the dedication that he and several members of their club had. What best describes your club's desire for adding members? Are you looking for it to make sure you have the current demographics so you represent your community? Are you looking for it more members with no particular demographic focus? Are you looking for younger members to reduce the average age of your club members by 10 years? Or are you looking to diversify it so that you're mirroring the club and the community demographics? But there are ways to do that. What are you looking at? My club's desire was that we have started a couple new service projects, and we know that we needed more hands to do that. We couldn't do it with just we could do it. I can't say we could do it with the membership we had, but having more would have made it easier and gives us an opportunity to spread who we are and what we do along the way. Improving the club experience. That's one thing that we often hear, that people do leave Kiwanis. Oftentimes we hear that, I didn't feel welcome. The club didn't have enough service projects for me. I wanted to make sure that there was no one in the club like me. But ways that you can work on to continue that with along the same goals. What's your qualitative objective? Where do you want to see? Same kind of questions that are here. Creating your membership plan. Create a goal. What are your membership plans, intents, and desired outcomes beyond more members, right? We can all put beyond more members. We all want more members in our club. But why do we want those more members or more members? Why do we want more members? What best describes your club style for recruiting new members? Do you want to do as we do? We're looking to do a new member or two each month. Do you want to get it done with one big event and everybody joins then? Or do you want to do it so that sporadically throughout the year you're getting members occasionally? What's your best tactic? There's a program out there for 2 for 2, where two members of your club may talk with two prospective members. That may be a great way to do it. You may want to do that for 2 people and bring 12 new members in. You may want to do a club boost with a goal of bringing 15 new members in. You may want to do a club boost of getting 5 new members. An open house. What can you do for a goal of bringing new members in? A special project, a special guest day throughout the year with a goal of 5 members at each event. And, you may just do you may already have a recruitment event going on where you just want to bring in, 3 new members or 4 new members, but taking a look at the ways your current membership efforts and what, programs you can do and what improvements are making it necessary for you and for your club to make it more appealing? How will you hold your members accountable? We say that it's all part of the goal, that we all, our membership, we all are our recruitments, but we have some members that don't like to make the ask, and that's okay. um maybe there's a person that does the ask and that someone else that follows up with it, or someone comes in and says, hey, I'm interested in joining Kiwanis, and that you can go to Norb or Sally in your club because they're the ones you want them to talk to, because they're the ones that can help sell Kiwanis. It's truly a selling. You're selling them because you want to meet their needs, and again, what is the value that you're trying to provide for your club members? As I always like to say, what's in it for me? I can join this club, but what's in it for me? What am I going to get out of this? And it's a two-way street for both of us. What am I going to be able to give to Kiwanis? And what is Kiwanis going to be able to give back to me? So the 2 for 2 program, the goal is that you convert at least one of those prospective members if you meet with 2 people. So if you're meeting with 24 people over the year, the goal is that you recruit 50% of them are 12 members. And clubs that are doing that, there's been some great stories from clubs that focus on that, where they have 2 members go meet with 2 prospective members, because then it takes a little bit of the uneasiness off with a one-on-one situation. They're having success with that, but they've focused on and said, this is what we're going to do. A club boost, which there are a program there. A club boost can work with Kiwanis International. You can work with your district or your division to do a marketing campaign. The club prepares for a couple of weeks of intense recruiting by making sure that you're ready for new members, that you're creating a list of potential members, you're setting appointments, and you're being trained. So a club boost is very similar to opening a new club, but making sure that everyone in your club is prepared to somehow take advantage of and to work with that. So let's say I'm going to do a club boost, and we want to go out the second week of July to go talk to members in our communities. We've moved away a lot from cold calling, where I may call and say, hey, Mark, this is Sue Peterson from the East Lansing Kiwanis Club. Can I have a few minutes of your time to talk about this with Kiwanis? This is what we're doing. We're, looking to engage members in our community. Can I set up an appointment to come meet with you? Instead of doing the walk-in, hey, I'm here. Now, some clubs can still do that. Don't take that away, but giving them an information and giving them that package. The other thing is, we have found that very successful clubs, they're using Facebook marketing. And there's actually a couple of documents on the Kiwanis.org membership pages on how to do Facebook marketing. And a lot of times when we're opening a new club, we do that. We do a marketing campaign and find that a lot of times that's how we get people to find out who we are about Kiwanis. They see the marketing campaign that's being done. There's minimal cost to it, but it might raise someone's eyes like, hey, that's something I'm interested in. Let me look into that. So there's a lot of that information again on the website. An open house. You might want to have an open house where you invite a number of community members. You might do a special function. You might have a special speaker, but you might schedule a day when you can do it quarterly or you do it semi-annually. But you may invite your educators, your ministers, your nonprofits, your partners, whatever works for what in your area. And then, of course, the goal of increasing your results of your club by 10% or 20%, whatever you would like to do. It's been proven that clubs hosting these events can increase their effectiveness by at least 20% over the previous year. And the big thing we go back to is the fact that a lot of this depends on the people that you're inviting, and if you're inviting members to your club, you want a vibrant position there. Okay, I see a couple chat things here. Oh, yep. There's some, so the question was about existing tracking spreadsheet from membership. That information is available through like if you want to know your numbers, that information is available through your lieutenant governor. The district office would also have that. And, there's a comment in here about that we often get stuck in service and doing fundraising of one thing or another. That happens all the time. How do you break that? How do you do? So capitalize on occasions and flexibility. What are the community opportunities that are out there? What are the service projects? What are the fundraisers? as I mentioned, my club held a rummage sale. We put it together in like 6 weeks and said, we're going to do a rummage sale at this corner in East Lansing. Was advertised on Facebook that anybody that wanted to rent a table was $20 for the table. You had the space. We'll be here from 10 to 2. Whatever you make is yours. And we had several people like, well, can I donate it back to the club? We're like, absolutely. But and now it's interesting because at our club meeting today, the chair of the project said, now the people want to know when we're going to do the next rummage sale. And we're like, okay, we got to think about that, right? But they also told us, don't call it a rummage sale, call it a flea market, call it something different. They're like, because people think of rummage sale, don't think of the same things. And we're like, oh, and they gave us some ideas on things. The other thing that our club has done recently is we started book vending machines and putting book vending machines in our public schools. We have had people that have come to our club because they saw the book vending machines. They wanted to know how to get involved. So putting a membership table up. Do you put a membership table up for any of your events? We worked a event on Saturday for a softball tournament that was in town. And we had a big tent there. And we were giving away potato chips, snacks, water, and freezy pops, and books that we had gotten from the local Capital Area Literacy Council. So kids could come by, and we got a lot of kids that came by and said, oh, can I have this book? My sister's playing. I got to be here all day. We're like, here, have a few books. Because the goal with that was to get those books into their homes. But it also helped us build, a relationship that we're now known for book vending machines in our community. But taking a look at 2 for 2, club boosts, or open houses, how are you doing that? Look at your membership. What are your milestones? What do you want to do along the way? Our goal was to get X number of members by a certain point in the year. What do we got to do to move that forward? Have you ever thought about going back and looking at former members of your club? That information is also available on the secretary's dashboard. You could go back and talk to the former members of your club who maybe at the time their schedule didn't fit, or maybe they were raising their family, or they had job changes. Because you never know when there might be someone there that says, hey, you know what? Now I have more time to work and to do these things. I'm retired. Let me, I can come back. Is your club familiar with the corporate membership? Is there a corporate membership? If so, have you recruited corporate members? Corporate membership is basically, I like to say, it's like just like a general membership, but in our club, in most clubs, if you have a corporate membership, anybody from your corporation can come to the meeting. Of course, your main member is that individual that's listed on the corporate membership, but they can come and they get the vote, or they can serve in an office where the other members that are with them can't. But if we're doing a service project and we're going to be, putting together backpacks with food, anybody from their corporation can come work with us, a corporate membership. Our club charges the same amount of money, whether you're a corporate membership or an individual membership. The corporate membership a lot of times is paid for by, of course, the corporation. We have several of those with our city, where the library is a corporate membership, and several of their members come to the club if they can make it during the day. And then, of course, the satellite membership. Do you have a satellite program where members can be involved, where they may have a group of people that your club meets at noon on Mondays, and this group of satellite members meets at the local pub, the local brewery on Thursdays at 5? They're still doing the same, they can do their projects, they can do what's involved, they're still a member of your club, but that schedule fits them better. So how can you make those adjustments to do things that make them fit with your club? And, I will tell you that a lot of times when we do those type of events, just as many of our members that meet on Monday as meet on during the week come to that. So they can't make the regular meeting. Often those satellite members become a group that meets separately for that reason, and they may take on their own project. They may do something independent, but it depends on how you want to set that up. There are club satellite tools and corporate membership tools available on the website. A lot of those groups could be, 7 to 10 members. They may be more, they may be less, but they kind of set up what works for them without having to go through the entire process of having a new club. Okay, let's see here. As we're creating this membership plan, Recognition. So what's, the growth of your club, and do you recognize those members that are bringing in members to your club? There's a program called the Ruby K Award, and the information is on the link there. But any member that brings in members, they can get what's called the Ruby K Award. And it starts with 5, it gets 10, you 15, 20, how many people are there. But let's say that you have 15 members today, and a year from now, you want to add 12 new members. You want to add another 12 after that, and 3 years from today, you want to be at 51. Something to think about. Recognizing those members that are sponsoring new members in. It's a simple order form, and I think the important thing about that is it's free. You're paying with it as part of your dues process, but those are things that your club can do to recognize those members that are bringing in new members. Now, some people don't like to be recognized in public like that. That's something you'll know with your own club, but there's an opportunity to recognize those members. And I hate to see when we don't recognize them, because those are things that all of us can help do with our club to help us encourage more membership. So is your enhancing your club operations? Do you have a membership chair? Many clubs may not even have a membership chair. Has the membership chair attended training? This is one of those training processes. Is there a membership committee? A membership or a committee of one, we know that isn't always successful, but we also know if you're a club of 8 or 7 or 10 or 11 people, you may not be able to fill all those positions of your committees. Membership chair, a membership person is probably one of the best ones and probably one of the crucial ones to have. Do your membership committee members attend training? Membership committee members, you could take this, and although it's longer than a club program, you could break it down into certain parts of it and say, we're going to watch this, or I'm going to ask that you watch this presentation to see what membership's about there. And then does your club board, when they meet monthly, do they talk about ways to discuss membership growth? I get called on at every club meeting to give an update on membership. And at our board meeting, they want to know continued membership. So membership is constantly in the forefront of our club. And as we say, things that get measured are the things that happen. So, but things about talking points. What are things that you can do throughout the year? And you'll hear people, well, we don't need anybody else. Well, we've got enough members. There are things there that you can use to break that down. Well, if we had, the average Kiwanis member puts in, 126 hours a year, how many more hours could we serve our communities? The sale that we're doing, whether it's serving pancakes or whether we're helping build bikes, more hands are more service, more ways that you can engage your club in the membership efforts. And there are things about that. I always tell people, do you have an elevator speech? If someone came up to you at the chicken barbecue or the pancake person and said, well, what does Kiwanis do? What do you do? A lot of times we'll say that we're a global organization of individuals who are, changing the world one child and one community at a time. In my Kiwanis Club, we raise money by doing millionaire poker nights. And that money goes back to support the children in our communities. So sometimes you need to help address the issues or potential objections that someone may have. And sometimes it's just sitting down and talking to someone and saying, okay, here we're at. So there's a couple of membership and retention strategies that have proven to work for Kiwanis, and I want to review those for you. One of the new things that's coming out, a new initiative, there are 3 pillars: build, nurture, and retain. So one of the things we talk about is that the district governor is expected to build new clubs. We know history proves over many, many years that you need to build new clubs in order to have a positive growth in your district. Nurture, about lieutenant governors. Lieutenant governors are expected to help nurture and work with existing clubs. Because the building of the club is expected of the governor, the lieutenant governors are expected to help that and make sure they have what they need for strong clubs. And then, of course, club presidents and the members and other club leaders it's really important that you as a club membership chair or your club is providing an experience for club members that want to come back for more. making sure that you're meeting those needs, making sure that you're providing opportunities for those club members to, to get involved, to build leadership skills. So the breakdown of the build, nurture, retain is working with district governors to build new clubs, lieutenant governors to help encourage and nurture them. And then of course your club presidents to work with keeping that experience for those people that want to come back for more. The 2 for 2 program was to, as we've mentioned a couple times, is to begin by identifying 24 people in your community that you want to recruit, inviting those 2 members. And I'm going to go back to Mark and Sally, that they're going to meet and reach out to those 2 prospects. They visit with those 2 prospects and ask them to, visit their club a couple times and come back to join the club. We will provide you with there's the link for the 2 for 2, but we'll also provide you a PDF that you can print out or keep on your club. The clubs that have done that have done great. But it's something that takes a focus, right? That someone's got to lead forward. The club boost, as we mentioned, can be done with your district or your division help. There are people, and Brenda will be, one of the things that as part of her role and responsibilities is if your club comes forward and says, hey, we want a club boost, we want to help, get to 15 new members or 15 members because we want to bring our membership up. This is the type of things that your club can ask for help for. There are often groups of individuals that will help recruit and will help invite people to join your club, Kiwanis International, depending on what the situation is. As far as schedule, they can also provide people to do that depending on the scheduling. And I think one thing to do is, let's say that your club's interested in doing something like this. We find that inviting people to help do this in a different community gives them an opportunity to really hone their skills because they can talk about Kiwanis in their community. You're going to get some yeses and nos, but it's always great to go in someone else's community where you may not know anybody to learn how to work this, because you'll find out that first success you have when that first person says, yes, I want to join your club, will take you back to your club with an enthusiasm. You're like, you know what? If I can do it in the city next door, I can do it in my own community. The guest day, just like an open house, same type of preparations, include smaller events. You might target a specific audience. We targeted educators and the Literacy Council when we started working on our book vending machine, because we know that those individuals knew the importance of reading and how we could involve them along the way and how they could help with us. You might want to do a special guest where you have a special speaker. Not necessarily talking about Kiwanis, but talking about something else and saying, okay, look, here's a special guest day. We got a speaker coming in. We'd like you to be here with us and learn a little bit. We may have a few minutes. We talk about what Kiwanis is, but it's really about for you to understand who our club is and things that you can do. Many clubs already have amazing recruitment events. They're specific to the local club. They're specific to the area. They're specific to the culture. And you may find after a year that you can do that same thing. It takes some work. It takes a challenge, but it takes a plan. And of course, our goal would be would be, let's do 20% more than the previous year. Kiwanis clubs have an opportunity to make a true difference in our communities, in our area. And there's no reason that, we can't move that forward, but it takes time. The Remember campaign, former member reunion. You may invite all your former members to your club and say, hey, this is what's changed with our club. Come on over. Or if there's a former member with something to think about, is some divisions or districts create a former member virtual club. They start with former members as a charter group and then they expand. And maybe they only do things in their community one day a month, whether they're in Michigan or they're in Indiana or they're in Ohio or wherever they're at. They may only do a couple events a year, or they support the Kiwanis Children's Fund or their own foundation. But I just read the other day that there's actually a RV travel club of Kiwanians, people that like to travel throughout with RVs. There's an NFL club. I read an NFL club that likes to do the I don't know the type of where they guess the games and who's going to win. I can't think of what you would call that, but there's a competition between people in their clubs on who's going to win the game and their activities. So any of those type of ideas that are out there. There might be a group of former Key Clubbers or former Circle K members that want to start a group. But there's plenty of opportunities, and I'm looking at this going a spaghetti dinner. Maybe you have a club of chefs. There's a club in California that's looking to do a group for members or individuals who have had a stroke and their support team. And they're going to do that across the country. It doesn't matter where you're at, but if you or your members and your support team want to join Kiwanis, here's a great way to get involved. So things that are specific. There's a club out in California that specifically focuses on libraries, and the members that belong to that club are librarians and individuals that are involved with the library system. So there's no specific, you don't have to have a specific reason, but there's a great opportunity there. Membership retention, new members. I think one of the most important things that you can do as a membership chair is to make sure that your member, your prospective member, your new member has an orientation. We have moved towards in my club that if we get a prospective member, someone reaches out to me, whether they do it to our Facebook page or our website, or they show up at a meeting like today, that we sit down with them before they even think about, writing that check to join our club. We want to make sure they understand what and get all their questions answered before they join, so that they don't get into the club, pay their dues, and go, oh, this isn't what I want to do. I'm looking for something that's a little more focused this way. But what a great way to provide that information to them ahead of time, because it also is something that allows them to see what you're doing. There is a orientation presentation that's available on the website that you can use, or your education committee can work for it. But making sure that each member understands what they can expect from your Kiwanis Club and what you would be expecting of them. Mentoring, providing someone, it may be a sponsoring member, it may be a member of the membership committee, but someone to make sure that you have that special interest to make sure they're connected. Staying connected, and that if we don't see them in a meeting for a couple weeks, making sure that they're we're following up with them and making sure is everything okay, did something happen, what can we help you with. An induction ceremony, I think anything that's helpful is to making membership a special event, whether you invite their spouse, their family, their workmates, whoever, but letting them know how important Kiwanis is for them to be, and how happy that you are to be a part of their member, a part of their family, their organization. One thing I always like to say is make sure that you can frame a certificate, or you have the pin, or you have their name badge. Make sure they really feel that they're a part of it, and you're not just getting up and saying, oh, by the way, it's time for us to induct Joe. Joe, you want to come up here and tell us about yourself? Okay, well, Joe, welcome to the club. But making it something special, because you want them to understand how important you believe they are, and that they're valued for what they're doing. Recognize the sponsoring member, whether it's through the Ruby K program, or you say, hey, Mark, thank you for bringing Joe into the club. We want to thank you for what you're doing and for sharing Kiwanis with him, but making sure that it's something special. And the other thing I can say is don't wait forever to do that. Nothing is worse than getting a new member into your club, and 2, 3, 4 months go by, and the person's like, am I going to be inducted into the club? Oh yeah, we'll do it. But do it as soon as you possibly can. Making sure that membership person, or whether the secretary, whoever, has the pin, and can get the name badge ordered if you do name badges, and has the certificate. And then, of course, engagement, involving your new members as soon as possible. They need to be emotionally connected to what your club is doing and the work that your club does for the community. Finding the right committee, discovering their talents. What do they like to do? Do they have a special project that they want to work on? Show the member that they're valued and you value, by asking their feedback. Is there something you could see us doing differently? Is there some project out there? But making sure that they understand that they're important to you and your club, and how you move forward. And then taking them to the next step, taking them to a divisional club, a council meeting, or taking them, to the club down the road when they meet as an interclub. Letting them realize that Kiwanis is bigger than their community and their club, but Kiwanis is all over, and that you can share that. So retaining members, important that it's a two-pronged approach. Once that person has been invited and joined your club, it's keeping those members that you have. Every year, Kiwanis members make the decision to not stay with us. And that decision may be made out of several different things, whether it's, you know, how, is the club meeting organized? Do they feel welcome? Do they feel like they can bring their friends to the meeting because there's something that they feel they can offer there? Working with those who are inactive, find out why Nettles, who I see in the picture, why is Nettles not involved? Did his job change? Did something else happen? What can we do to involve him? And if your club has the opportunity that you can do a Zoom meeting and an in-person meeting, invite them to that. We often get members that can't make a Monday meeting at lunch, but yet the in-person, but they can do a Zoom meeting with us. Making sure that your club is relevant to what's going on in the community, making sure that they understand and you understand what is really needed in your community. That maybe that check that you were writing to an organization 20 years ago was no longer of any value, and they're just putting it in their budget because that's the way it's always been. And then again, making sure that you are keeping those members by celebrating their accomplishments and making sure they're excited. So whether it's a promotion or a new baby or they got married or they're taking a trip for their 50th anniversary, anything that you can do along the way, to keep them engaged, recognizing their family, great opportunities. So we mentioned earlier the type of memberships that are out there. Corporate memberships, where the business or the organization is a member, they have an appointed representative, and it's not designed for transient positions. Oftentimes, a bank will be a member because the bank manager moves, but the bank is still the member, and then a new person may take their area. So a new person can take that position without being charged a new member fee, right? Or a fee that you may have. The company is represented by whoever's there, that designated employee. So, you want to make sure that, when you do something like that, that you're not going to lose out on the opportunity of having 4 or 5 individual memberships. So don't often immediately offer the corporate membership, but if it's something you see that might happen and might fit, go for it. An employer with a corporate membership can send different employees to the meeting. Yes, they can do that. They would come as a guest, and they would be their guest of the corporate member of the club. Can they have multiple corporate memberships? Can one employer? Absolutely. There's no restriction on the number of memberships that you can have in a club. And again, satellite memberships may fit for someone who can't make regular meetings, and that they need to be a group that's, they may operate separately, but it's an opportunity for them to do Kiwanis differently. They may not, ring the bell, or they may not, say the pledge, or they may not sing, but there's a way for them to do things differently. And then recognition and awards I'd mentioned along the way, birthdays, personal anniversaries, when did they join? Any way that you can do to make that person feel important and motivate them with positive behaviors, whether there's a way to, I'm going to give this recognition piece for, Diane, who led the rummage sale, and move that forward. But anything you can do to recognize members. And of course, always smiling and making sure that you're saying thank you. And you could never do that too often. One thing that I like to do is I like to send note cards. I'm still a person who writes handwritten thank you notes. And if somebody in my club has done something, or I hear something about someone, no matter where they are in the country, I send a note and say, hey, I read this information, or so-and-so said this about you. I heard that you were promoted, or I heard you're going to retire. One of the things that, and I will tell you that I personally, I like to get those handwritten notes because it's something doesn't happen as much, versus a text. You may get a text, or you may get a piece of paper, but there's great ways to do that and to bring that information forward. And you can make up your own awards, the person that's on time, or the person that's always late, or the person has the bad joke, whatever you like to do. So ways to market your club. And in your club, you may decide to have the opportunity for, you may have a group that does marketing. You may have a group that does, the PR. It all depends on your club. Some of that falls to the membership person. Like we're very strong on making sure that our logos are the same. and we're using the same brand, because when I go into when I go into Owasso, or I go into St. John's, or I go into Lansing, I want to know that the Kiwanis Club that is there. I'm going to recognize that K, making sure that that is there. The other thing, if you're not aware, is that if you're having an anniversary come up, a significant anniversary, Kiwanis International will actually design a logo for your anniversary. So I've already ordered our 75th anniversary logo several months ago, and I already have it sitting in the files waiting to go. But photography, if you're looking to put brochures together, there's photography on the website. Social media assets. There's a brand book that tells you, what are the right colors for the Kiwanis logo. If you see the logo that we call it has the bird cage around it, that's way outdated. We're trying to get rid of that because it's outdated. Let's bring something new in. Public relations tips and tools. There are tools there for, your new members, sending in a press release. There's a tool there that you can develop a custom brochure. You put the information in, Kiwanis International will send you X number of them for no charge. Club anniversaries, licensing and trademark. And I always like to tell people, McDonald's doesn't allow you to do with their logo what you want. Nike doesn't allow you to do with their logo what you want. And why should Kiwanis, right? We're Kiwanis, let's keep our brand and protect that brand in any way that we can. Conversations, elevator speeches. I always say, what if I got into an elevator, and it happens a lot? Oh, I see your K. You got the K pin. It used to be, are you a Knights of Columbus member? Now it's, oh, do you belong to Kiwanis? Yes. Well, what does Kiwanis do? Well, this is what we're a global organization. In my club, we put book vending machines in, or we had we sponsor a softball team, or we sponsor, we give scholarships. Make it quick, make it simple. Should be a 1-minute speech. Think about the aha moment that you had. What is your Kiwanis moment? What is something that made you realize you're in the right spot in what you're doing? What have you done that's impacted a child that you remember about? What are those stories that you can tell about Kiwanis? What are the things that you can do to share what's going on? Why would you want someone else to join you? Think about what you love about your club. What's the community impact? How do we make an impact? What is there that you can do? And, something you can do, this is something your club could do. You could spend 10 minutes at a club meeting one day and say, you know what, let's put our own elevator speeches together. So if I walk out today of this restaurant and someone sees that I've got my Kiwanis shirt on, I can tell them what it is. This is why I belong to an organization, and this is why I support the organization. Newsletters, if your club has a newsletter, who can you send it to? Do you have a club newsletter that you might do monthly or weekly or, bi-weekly, whatever your club is? But how many members receive that newsletter? Everybody that speaks at our club, we ask them, Ken, would you like to be put on our club newsletter? We'd like to share with what you're doing. And if you decide you're, an organization that we're supporting, or you've come to check us out, or you're a speaker, we want you to know what you're doing and what's out there. Who in the audience can you reach? Do you send it to your local paper? Do you send it to TV or the news people? Anywhere that you can do that, and sharing those stories reaches a broader audience and might in the end make them want to join us. Do you send it to your partners? You send it to parents of SLP members? What about city and government leaders? Think about where you share that. And I know someone's going, oh my gosh, all this stuff to think about and all this stuff to do. Start small. You don't need to go to the top right at the beginning. Make your newsletter. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. Ours just comes in an email. Diane, who does our newsletter, kind of puts the recap of the meeting, but then she talks about what the projects are that are coming up and who to contact. The biggest thing is who to contact, what's there. Or if there's something there that, that we want to share more of the story about, we put it on our website, because you can always go to the website or the Facebook page. And using photos in social media squares, anywhere you can put that information out, is always great to talk about what your club is doing. And then Kiwanis International actually has email newsletters that they put out, and you can use that. You can use their content. If you don't know what to say, you can cut and paste their content and put it in your information. And a lot of times, I get some RSS feeds that I read about Kiwanis clubs that are doing things all over the country. And it's like, hey, that might be a great project for us, or I want to find out more about what they're doing. And we invite them to speak virtually through Zoom to be with us. But the biggest thing about a newsletter is to always have a call to action. What do you want people to do? What are the next steps? you want them to support your event? Do you want them to volunteer? Give them something to react to, because you want them to have an email. And then the other thing is, do you have an email address where people can send questions to? Where does the email that's on your club website go to? And the biggest part about it is who responds to it and how long does it take? You want to make sure that that engagement is there. Social media. I will tell you that I'm not a huge social media person. I follow a couple sites for my job because I need to. But the big thing with that is to make sure that your websites are updated as much as you possibly can. Keep it fresh, keep it exciting, change the content. There's some sites that, like I said, you can connect to your site from Kiwanis International. That information is there. Respond to inquiries. Use the digital platforms to engage in all kinds of members. There's a Facebook, there's X, formerly known as Twitter, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube. Start small. Start with what works for you. You don't need to jump into everything all at once. And you may find someone that is interested in doing that kind of work in your club that it's like, hey, I'll follow social media. What do I need to do? But you'll find that community members engage on social media, friends of your members, anybody who might have been to an event, speakers, service partners. Facebook page is kind of at that, I like to say, is my age, in the 50s, 60s. Instagram is something that is very popular with the younger population. They like to do that with their stories. But then LinkedIn is a professional site. YouTube, having videos. If you can put videos out there of what your club is doing. Again, all things to think about and nothing that you have to do immediately. Creating content. 25% of Facebook leads convert to members. So think about that. 25% of Facebook leads convert to members. Create content that makes people want to share it or like it. If you follow social media, you'll know that the more people like something, it gets moved up on the page. And the more people share it, it gets moved up on the page. Showcase your projects. Tag people. Use hashtags if you can do that. The call to action, what's your next project? And you'll see there are documents at the bottom of this page, Kiwanis.org/club toolbox. There are documents out there that tell you how to work with Facebook, how to maximize your digital leads, what you can do. And a lot of that stuff is already written for you. You just need to cut and paste. And one of the things that Kiwanis does do is that when they advertise on Facebook, they advertise by zip code. So if you use Facebook, you can go in and say, okay, I want everybody that's in the zip code 48910, 48911, 48912, whatever it is. And typically it's done for 2 weeks. And that way you have all that information, you capture all that data. So Kiwanis International also captures that information. If someone comes to their website and says, hey, I'm looking for a Kiwanis Club in Lansing, Michigan, or I'm looking for a Kiwanis Club in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they actually send that information out to the state, the government, or the district leadership team, the governor and the membership chair, and they pass that along. So there's ways that information is coming in from all over Kiwanis of prospective members that you can get that information for. And I will tell you, the biggest thing is you have to follow up with it. Social media, Facebook pages, promote event. Club events should be created from a club's page. Your club should have a Kiwanis. If they're going to have a Facebook page, for example, they want a Facebook page. The Kiwanis Club of Coldwater, the Kiwanis Club of Grand Rapids, the Kiwanis Club of South Lansing, whatever there are that way. And then if it's posted on that page, then you can share it or you can like it, and your friends can do that with you sharing on their page. Post often, make the post relevant, make the post inviting. A long time we always used to hear about, you're posting too much on Facebook, or you're sending too many emails. Well, people will decide what they want to use. People are going to decide what they want to use and what they want to see. Kids Need Kiwanis is a great hashtag to use, or hashtag East Lansing Kiwanis, or hashtag South Lansing Kiwanis, whatever is out there, because then you can sort and you can find out what's out there. And then if someone's interested, that's how our rummage sale got started. It was posted on Facebook. Here's the information. And people said, when they asked where people found it, they said, we found it on Facebook. That was, the age. And then of course, during the event, all the signage that was out there, but great things to think about. Of course, starting small. Social media, LinkedIn, positions club leaders as thought leaders and community leaders. If you have a Facebook page with a business focus, LinkedIn does have a business focus, more of a business focus, but gives you an opportunity to connect with people. connect with Kiwanians around the world. It gives you a chance to ask questions, create surveys and call, and polls, generate leads for businesses. Again, a professional focus, but position leadership is thought leaders in volunteering and working with kids in service. And once you put your LinkedIn profiles together, that information, of course, is all sorted and tagged and stuff. And you can see, I get invited to a lot of 1 hour workshops during lunch that are talking about volunteerism, or how to develop your leaders, or everybody's looking to invite people to join their organization. There might be a workshop on that, or someone might write an article, and those articles are there. Instagram is mostly used by Key Club and Circle K. We do have a Kiwanis account, but it's similar to what's on Facebook, because what they have found is the content attracts a younger demographic because of focus on visuals. As a person who's not really into Instagram, I'm like still trying to figure out how to do it, but it's all based on a slideshow or music and graphics and stories. But it's the same thing. What do you want people to do? What do you want them to respond to things? So if you're new to Instagram, find a Key Clubber, a Circle K-er, or a grandchild, because chances are they're the ones that know how to do it. But it's a lot about pictures and visuals. And then, of course, the tools and resources that are available to you, the Kiwanis Club Toolbox is there. There's a membership leaders Facebook page, Kiwanis Membership and Engagement, it's there. There's a lot of information that's shared there from clubs that are like, hey, we want to try this event, but we don't know what to do. Go for it. Check it out. Typically, you just join by hitting the join button, but there's a lot of people out there that are doing the same thing that we're doing, trying to invite people to join our club. And how can we keep them engaged, or what project can we do? So if you have someone that's a Facebook person, even if there's one person in your club that's going to follow Facebook for you, it's a great opportunity to do that. And of course, sharing pictures along the way. So thank you for being with us. I'm going to turn off the screen. This is Brenda's email address. If you need assistance with things, Brenda can help you. I'll make sure that when you get the email, you're going to get this PowerPoint presentation. You'll get all the slides, so that you'll have this information. I know there's a lot of information that we covered in 1 hour and 15 minutes, but that is there for you to use and to reference. And then, of course, the video will also always be available on the YouTube page. And then my information is here. If you would like to contact me, or I'm happy to do, Zoom in if I can't get into your club in person, but I'm happy to Zoom in and talk to you, answer any questions, share some of the stories that I have. The one thing is, if you text me, just put that you're from a Kiwanis club, because I work with at MSU and with Sparty. I get a lot of stuff for that. I don't want to ignore your text message. And typically, if it has Kiwanis Club in it, I get back to those quicker, because I recognize, especially if you say Kiwanis Club, I recognize that. But if you just send me your name, I may not know your name. And that happens a lot because of the amount of messages I do receive. So with that, I'm going to stop the share, and I am going to see if anybody has any questions or anything anybody wants to add. And I know that I probably have, talked for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Is that Bonnie? Oh, go ahead, Rod.
So I was going to say, this seems like a really cool thing. If we could, but it needs to be broken down. I think every club member should see this, especially in my club. I just trying to break this down into like thirds or something and plan. So they're only looking at like a 20-minute at a time chunk.
Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so I'd have to somehow, you don't chunk it, or I'd have to chunk it myself.
Well, one of the things that I will be working on is this program is fairly new for Kiwanis International, so we went through it. I will be chunking it down.
Oh yeah. Okay, great.
It'll probably be a re-recording. It won't be with a bunch of people, right? It'll just be me recording the video. I'm doing that with several of the programs, because in the club president one, they talk about the club experience, and the club, the CEO. There's a lot of information there. And normally this information is presented in a 3 or 4 hour program, right?
Right.
So, and then we get people going, well, I can't do more than 1 hour and a half. So we're trying to gush everything in. So I will be breaking it down, and some of it may be just podcastable, so you may just listen to it, but we'll get that information out.
Well, I think the reason I thought of that is because the thing you just said right out of the chute, you said, what did you say? Everybody is a uh friend raiser.
Right,
I thought that was a great term.
right,
Everybody in the club is a friend raiser. And so if you take that tack, this makes a whole lot of sense.
right,
And don't keep this wrapped up in just your own little one committee or two or
right.
three people. The whole freaking club should look at it and
Exactly. And
say,
and I think of that, I work for University Advancement, which is the fundraisers for the university, right? And we'll get a lot of people go, well, I'm not a fundraiser. Well, actually, you are a fundraiser. We're all a
yeah,
fundraiser in one way or another, right? But in Kiwanis, we're just as much fundraisers. We want to stay connected with people, and to have, when we started our book project, we had two people come in and said, I saw your books, I saw what you guys are doing, we want to join. After the rummage sale, people were like, I love what you guys are doing, I want to join. We had a lady last week that showed up because she moved to town because her family now lives here, she's older, and she said, she goes, I'll tell you this, she goes, I went to the Rotary Club and they were really boring.
yeah, we've
And
heard
I'm
that
like,
too.
okay, right? She goes, I went to the Rotary Club, they're very boring. So my son said, well, go to the Kiwanis Club. So she showed up at our club, and by the end of the meeting, she said the word crap about something, and we're like, okay, you're gonna fit right in.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
the other thing is that uh people I like your idea that and we're doing this now more is letting people know way in advance the orientation or the expectations so they because the biggest problem we have is getting people to stay involved or getting them
Mhm.
involved and like encouraging them like the day you say I do and sign it, you're an active member of this
Right,
Kiwanis Club and your thoughts, your heart, it's all you're like I've been here for 100 years.
right. Well,
You
and
can whatever you got, bring it
yep,
on. We'll see what we can do.
and that's like the rummage sale that we had on Saturday. Diane, who's a member of our club, who's been a member of our club just over a year, kind of came in and said, these are the things I want to do. And people at first were like, what is she doing? Right. Well, now, I mean, people are like, hey, Diane, what's next on the agenda? And, we're doing the Fairy Festival at the Turner Dodge House in a couple of weeks, but she's got projects planned like every so many weeks. And we try to do a lot of signups, right? Everybody does. And she says on last Monday, she said, no one signed up to help me. I'm going to need help on Saturday. They're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it, Diane. We're there. They were there. You know what they said? We don't really care about signing up. You just tell us where we need to be.
Right. That's
And they
kind
were
of like our
there,
club said.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not interested and many of them are like, you know what? I don't want to do the planning and take care of that kind of stuff. You get that stuff done, we'll be there.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Well, it was a great presentation.
thank
Very
you.
helpful. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
And we'll break it down. Like I said, we'll break it
Yeah.
down. Um,
Yeah, because like a 20 minutes is about all you can take.
right,
You
exactly. Well, and
know?
I'm looking to like 15, because
Yeah.
that's long enough for a
Yeah.
club
15
meeting,
minutes.
right? I will tell you that we had the Optimist Club came today and presented to our club about they were doing. Someone had connected and said, hey, you need to go talk to Kiwanis about what they're doing. They have a club, I think she said, of 11 members. They actually started during the pandemic, which I thought was really interesting. And we started talking, and she started talking about what they did and what was going on and stuff. And she's like, talking about getting members and stuff like that. And I looked at her and I said, we're not in competition. I said, you guys are working on what you're working on. We're working on what we're working on. There's enough to do in this community that we don't need to have that competition. We're all
Right.
here to work together. So now she's like, well, you need to come to talk to our club. We're like, okay. And then actually we're coming up to St. John's. I'll tell you that next week. We're sending members up to your club
Yes, I know.
to join. But I
Um,
mean, she's like, come on over. And the Rotary's now called and said, hey, come on over and tell us what you're doing.
the chamber came to our meeting
Oh, good.
and we told the chamber all about Kiwanis.
Yep.
The chamber were actually all of our guests. And
Yep.
so that was pretty cool to put a program together to show Kiwanis what we do in the
Mm-hmm.
community
Mm-hmm.
for these chamber members. And they
Right.
were like blown away, but they're prospective members.
Right. That's right.
And we got you're coming. Are you one of those coming with the
I
governor
actually
next
am not
week?
going to be there that day. I have a other appointment with the big green guy. I got to take him somewhere. So, Mike, go for it. Mike, you're on mute. I love that's gonna be our new theme. You're still on mute. I'm not in. I haven't learned lip readings. I only know
It's the
Sparty.
microphone button, Mike. You got to click it
He's usually really good about that. Let's see
at
here.
the bottom or the top there, Mike.
Bottom left.
Mike's having trouble tonight. That's unusual because Mike's usually
Maybe
really
you
good
can
about that.
unmute him, Sue.
I just asked him to unmute and it must not have worked for him. Oh, there he is. All right, Mike, you're ready.
Okay, my idea is I go out to the different clubs. For those who don't know me, I'm a lieutenant governor, and as I go to different clubs this week, is to take some of the ideas of tonight to my clubs because I'm asking all the clubs in my division to have a membership chair by the end of this Kiwanis year. And so, but my idea is to I've been taking a lot of notes, and I'm going to make a treasure chest. In the treasure chest, the notes are going to be on 3x5 cards. And so I'm going to shuffle them. And the specific idea about membership, I'm going to share with any group on that night will be the one I draw for them to stir conversation about that. And the next time I come, I will then draw another one for them. Hopefully they don't get the same one. But the idea is that even for next year, I expect I'll be in the membership chair. I'm supposed to be the membership chair from lieutenant governor for my club. And then when I get my group of 5 or 6 people working with, I'm going to use the same strategy, which is I'm not going to overload them with information at the beginning. Every time we meet, like if we meet every 2 weeks, whatever, I'm going to draw a 3x5 card and say, all right, this is the angle that we can look at and see if we can. We'll always have something to brush up and keep it real. So that's one idea. The other idea that I had before this meeting was to come up with a corny slogan, which is high five. And basically, I promised every club in my division that if they get 5 new members by October 1st, I will personally give them $5 out of my own pocket in gratitude. Because I figured that if I got 7 clubs in my division, it's only going to cost me $35. But if we get 35 members throughout our division, then it's well worth it. And it's almost laughable that it's such a little amount. But I'm thinking that it's the symbolic value of me coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna reach my pocket. I'm gonna pay for this, even if I have to bribe you. But let's get just 5 by." So I'm calling it high five. So I'll come.
That's great.
When they reach their goal, I'll come to the meeting. I'll give them a $5 bill with a freshly minted with Abraham Lincoln's picture on it. I'll come. I'll shake their hand and congratulate them, and for getting 5 new people in their club by October 1st.
That's great. That's great. I think we just get to the point where we just got to be creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just got to find things that resonate with people. But I mean, we invite every prospective member or every speaker to our club to join our club.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't do that. I'm like, what a great way to get a couple new people on your membership list, or a couple new people that are on your agenda or your newsletter mailing. But we invite them, and a lot of them say we go to a lot of meetings and we know we don't get invited.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, people are like, oh yeah, you're here. It's like, well, okay, what can we do? What can we do? How can we do that? But it's just, people don't think to invite the speaker.
Well, the other thing too about inviting a speaker is to have the speaker not speak first, and have so much fun at the meeting before they speak that they catch a flavor of what the club's feeling is, and it helps them when they speak, but also it makes them feel like I'd like to be part of this group too.
That's
So
right.
they come to bring something, but they come away saying, this club is like a magnet for me.
That's
I'm
right. Right.
looking for something like this.
Yep.
And then you get them to join.
Rod, did you have something else? No, okay. I just saw your hand waving.
I'll be quiet, Sue.
Hey, no, that's okay. I just saw Rod's hand and I didn't know whether he was saying
I know,
goodbye or he was
I
joining.
know.
I was waving at Alana. She did.
Oh, okay.
I said it in the chat, but she just sat there and looked at me like, who is this guy?
All right.
So I was just waving at her.
Okay, so I think I've got everybody that's on here tonight. If you would, before you leave, if you would make sure you put your, that's something I forgot, put your name and your club in here. I think I got everybody, but because I can always go back, but if you would put your name and your club in there, that way I make sure you get recognition and your credit for being at the class tonight. I'll hold on before I sign off, but I will stop our recording.